Hey, how you going, random stranger? I hope you've been doing well. I know it's been a while. I am still away from home, and so I'm just squeezing in episodes whenever I can. But I am pretty stoked that we have another two episodes of Girls' Last Tour coming up, and I hope you are as well. First order of business before we get to the actual episodes, I meant to share this last reaction, this amazing piece of art from Folkuse. Let me pull it up. Yep, there we go. So Folkuse posted this to Discord, and now I just want to share it to the whole world because it is awesome. That's me. I think it's a spitting image. Thank you so much for this. I was gobsmacked. It's actually a very accurate portrayal as well. Definitely because of the Ravenclaw scarf, but also because I'm kind of like leaning forward, anticipating what's up ahead, and just kind of enjoying the experience. What is cool is that I'm enjoying Girls Last Tour in quite an unexpected way. It's a show that's very meandering, but with a purpose, which I really appreciate. And so, yeah, I like series with explosive action or complex political plot lines, but what really gets me are shows that turn the viewer's mind inward to the bigger, sometimes scary questions about life. Not in an in your face way, but in the small, subtle ways that snowball and snowball until they hit you really hard. And so I just thought that this image represented all of that perfectly. So thank you. Last time I talked about how I can't help but feel that everything Chi or you does is only delaying their inevitable death. And was it Falkirs? Yeah, it was Falkirs who commented that that really applies to most living things, which when I stopped to think about it, I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, we all will die someday. That's just a fact. But given this fact, maybe we don't spend enough time thinking about how we could live differently or live better to make the most of the limited time that we do have, because it doesn't come naturally. We're always on this treadmill of life, with expectations to fulfill and bills to pay, that we forget that life can end any second, any moment. And so sometimes we stop thinking about why we're even on this treadmill of life in the first place. But with Girls Last Tour, it presents us with so many opportunities to just think, and I think that's why I like it so much. It lets us think about why humans do what we do, largely through Chi and Yu's innocent conversations about the past and how this deserted, mysterious, sometimes ominous landscape they're traveling through came to be through the actions of those humans that now no longer exist. Dalgoon Murun wrote in the comments, any Girls Last Tour episode always fills me with immense dread and then a strange sense of calm. It's pretty freaky, but in a good way. Yeah, that is exactly how I feel, especially listening in on the girls' conversations. So kind of dreading for their future, but also, I guess, enjoying this stroll that they're having through this really quiet, almost eerily calm world that they have to live in now and contemplate about. So, big discovery from last time. We actually got a date from the camera that Kanazawa gifted to Chi and Yu, and it's, according to that camera, August in the year 3230 or 3230, confirming that we are way into the future and that humans lived long enough to suffer a pretty steep decline in knowledge and civilization over quite a long period of time. So, one of the questions in episode 3, and which carries over to episode 4, is asked by Chi right off the bat at the start of ep 3, which is, why do people live? And you, of course, misinterprets that as meaning, are we alive at all? Which isn't what Chi meant, but in a way, you is right. So we do all of these things to keep our bodies going, to survive, thinking that there's a destination to reach at the end. But what if there is no destination? Or if there's nothing at the end? Like, what if, like the endless cracked and worn buildings that they've passed, that all look the same, there's nothing in this world that's any different, and it's just the same old, whether you're alive or you're dead. Mirroring these thoughts, in episode 4, Chi and Yu find a light in the distance to follow, something that promises to be and kind of acts for a while as a destination to reach. But in the end, at least by Yu's account, when they do reach it, all they found were fake representations of the afterlife, something obviously no one alive can claim to really know. And I think it was such a masterful way to tap into the topic of faith and religion. This idea of following the light and staying on the path despite not really knowing what lies ahead or whether there is anything ahead is a common theme in many religious faiths. In religious symbolism, light often represents life and darkness, death. So light always conquers the dark. So if you hold on to your faith, you can conquer anything, including death. And there were also other physical representations of religion in that episode. The huge connection tower reaching up into the sky really reminded me of the Tower of Babel, and I guess its various ancient predecessors. So the story of how humans tried to build a tower to reach heaven or to reach God or the gods, but in the end they were brought down by pride and also God, who caused humans to speak all different languages and not be able to communicate, and therefore not able to cooperate and to finish building that tower. So the connection tower, at least in my mind, really plays on that question of, can humans reach heaven, if there is even a heaven to begin with? Also, the number 72 is pretty significant symbolically. In later retellings of the Tower of Babel, it's supposedly the number of languages that people were made to speak by God in order to cause confusion. It's also apparently the number of steps in Jacob's ladder, which again was a ladder leading directly to heaven, so connecting humans to God. And remember, we did see the number 72 in episode 2 at the power plant. And I know it wasn't really referring to the number of layers of cities or whatever, but it's an interesting coincidence, the connection that particular number has to people trying to get to heaven, especially in the context of Chi and Yu trying to figure out why people would even believe in such a place. The questions, why do people live and is there really any point or end to living, leads to a potential answer, which is that maybe having a purpose in life is reason enough to live, or is living itself, and that maybe sometimes your purpose can come in the form of someone that you care about or who cares about you. And there are a few comments that suggest that maybe Chi and Yu have that kind of relationship where they are each other's purpose for continuing to live in this pretty godforsaken world. So from Strange Attractor, in the scene where Yu is in the dark asking herself, what would I do without Chi? Does she immediately grab the gun because it makes her feel safe, or was it implying that she'd kill herself without Chi? Maybe it was a bit of both. Yeah, I agree. It was a bit of both. We know that Yu goes for her gun at the first whiff of threat, but also we know how reliant she is on Chi for both survival and companionship, and vice versa. There's also a good chance that they're the only humans still alive who know what it is to have this kind of connection with someone else. Unlike Kanazawa, who hadn't seen anyone or talked to anyone for so long that his voice kind of just got stuck in his throat when he tried talking. There was a tiny scene in episode 3 that I thought showed and emphasized that dependence, I guess interdependence between Chi and Yu. So after Kanazawa almost kills the girls by detonating that building, he's watching Chi brush dust off Yu, and there's a look on his face, one that says, oh, so that's what real human connection looks like. It was an interesting choice to have those very prolonged few seconds of Kanazawa staring at Chi and Yu supporting each other like he was looking at something really alien. And so, yeah, I think there's a good chance that Chi and Yu are the only two left who have that sort of connection. This was a great comment from Nightingale. I like how these two episodes really flow into each other. While the obvious thing here is a link between life, purpose, and religion, I think that's really secondary to how Chi and Yu feel about each other. Episode 3 posits the question, what's so important to you that you would die for? Whereas episode 4 has Yu asking, if Chi wasn't around, what would I do? The answer to that for both of them would have to be each other, I think. There's also this theme of legacy in these two episodes. We have Kanazawa's maps, the camera with the photos, and the statues built by people who are no longer around. It's a very human thing to create something that will outlast oneself. I definitely felt that the key focus was on how much Yu and Chi really need each other, to the point where if either one of them was left on their own, it would cause them to question their own purpose for existing. By the way, I really loved the commander and loyal lieutenant vibes that Chi and Yu give off. So when they discovered the still burning cigarette butt, Chi tells Yu to load the gun, and Yu loads the gun. You know, when the building starts to collapse, you see Yu sort of grab Chi and this protective bear hug, and Chi is the one to warn Kanazawa to stop, but Yu's the one who backs that statement up by pointing her rifle. I just love how those two work really well together. Also, Yu was very suspicious of Kanazawa to start with, and the question I was thinking about in that moment was Yu capable of killing Kanazawa in cold blood? And I think she was. Like, other than Chi, there's no one else that she really needs, and survival is the game here. So yeah, Yu gives me a protect Chi at all costs kind of vibes, and that's really sweet, but also it can make Yu quite scary sometimes. With regards to legacy, I remember in a previous episode we talked about how there's that very human need to live beyond death through something like memory, and that on a certain philosophical view, when Chi and Yu die, which will happen eventually, there'll be no one left to remember them, and so they would suffer a second, more permanent kind of death. But interestingly, there are other philosophical views that would contest that. So, for example, in the Upanishads of Hindu philosophy, they hold that even if the memory of someone dies, because of this unity and the connection of all things in the universe, they as an entity would continue to exist. And I'm grossly simplifying what is a very complex philosophy, but essentially that's what it is in a nutshell. And a surprising adherent to those beliefs, or at least someone who quoted extensively from the Upanishads, was Erwin Schrodinger of Schrodinger's cat fame. So I found out that in addition to his probably more famous contributions to physics, he also wrote a lot about human consciousness and human existence. And the way that he explained how we continue to exist personally even after we die, or even when the memories of us die, was just really beautiful. So I'm going to read it in full here. So he wrote, "Hence, this life of yours which you are living is not merely a piece of the entire existence, but is in a certain sense the whole. Only this whole is not so constituted that it can be surveyed in one single glance. This, as we know, is what the Brahmins express in that sacred, mystic formula which is yet really so simple and so clear. Tatvamasi, this is you. Or again in such words as, I am in the east and in the west, I am below and above. I am this whole world. Thus you can throw yourself flat on the ground, stretched out upon Mother Earth, with the certain conviction that you are one with her and she with you. You are as firmly established, as invulnerable as she, indeed 1,000 times firmer and more invulnerable. As surely she will engulf you tomorrow, so surely will she bring you forth anew to new striving and suffering. And not merely someday. Now, today, every day she is bringing you forth, not once, but thousands upon thousands of times, just as every day she engulfs you 1,000 times over. For eternally and always there is only now, one and the same now. The present is the only thing that has no end." So yeah, there you go. Whether or not she and you die when they will eventually physically die is completely up to your own philosophical interpretation. Arguably, the fact that they took that photo or left behind that bridge that they made, or will leave behind the Kettenkrad that they've been traveling in for so long, even if they're not around anymore, in a way, they'll be part of the world in those ways and those different forms for as long as there continues to be a present that they once were part of. Kind of like how the worm statues and the dilapidated buildings are reflections of the people that made them. In a way, they're still there, even though there was no one around to remember them. It's like they imprinted on the environment and then the environment absorbed them back in, and they're still part of the world as they have always been, and that can also be a form of continued existence. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just riffing here. The fact that this show even makes us think of these things, I think, is a real testament to how well thought out and made it is. Okay, so after that long trek into philosophy, we are going to start episode 5 of Girls Last Tour. And if you guys are ready to go, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, play. I'm always shocked by how happy this OP sounds compared to the kind of things that we cover in the themes like death and war, the afterlife, religion. Yeah, look at the lyrics. Yeah, the lyrics are so hopeful as well. It's just such a huge contrast. Goodbye, loneliness. Yeah, it's such a positive outlook on life. Maybe, I don't know, from Chi and Yu's perspective, because they are still kids at the end of the day, and they look at the world in quite a positive way, I guess. At least they're not ruined by the worries of adulthood yet, even though they're living in this really harsh world. That definitely looked like the Tower of Babel right there. Oh, wasn't that like the very first episode with the water drop? Ugh, so precarious. The buildings, the tops of the buildings that they're traveling across. 6. 1,000. Damn, they must have, like, in that war, the war that they left behind, humans must have been utterly destroyed already by then. It's no more mega metropolises of millions of people. It's unthinkable for them. But you have a home. Home is with the people you care about, right? Is this the message for this show, that you don't really want a house, you want a home? It kind of is. They sort of live in that Kettenkrad. How sad. So you as a pun master as well. Fits her personality. That's rare, right? For these wrecked buildings. What was that? Oh, man. Oh, that is a beautiful shot of the sun in the back. It looks very well preserved. Damn, that's like a find, is it not? Running water? Look at that chair. Wow. They should just settle there. Yeah. Oh, what the American dream. I guess some things never change, even 1,000 years into the future. They would love a bunk bed. Oh, she's seen a bunk bed before. Oh my gosh, they're planning out their dream home. Of course. She knows about this stuff. I wonder if from theory or if before, when they lived with Grandpa, they actually had a bookshelf. She doesn't know what a pantry is. It's so funny that that's their respective areas of expertise: food and books. Ugh, this is too nice, this music, and just them talking about their dream life. Oh, it's nice that they get this moment. What a rare moment of just chill. Oh my god. Oh wow, look at all that fully populated city. That's so different. Those church bells? That music and the kids laughing. Oh, I got chills and everything faded out and just went away. That one light in that building. Hmm. Yeah, I guess having to constantly. The road we travel is our house. Like having to constantly find food, that's why they just can't stop somewhere and settle down. Where are they go? Are they just gonna go up as far as they can? Is that the point? Oh my, yo, that shot. Oh, that's so trippy. Those buildings like lollipops. I wonder what happened. Like, sort of the outer husk of the buildings got stripped away, leaving just the structure and some of the external walls at the top. Street lamps. Oh man, I love these two. Uh, Yo, you such a Slytherin. there's, there's no way she will win against you ever. So evil, so cute. Where's that water coming from? Just oh man, that's so such an odd perspective. It looks like it's gone into film mode, like when they do their flashbacks. Yep, okay, this is a dream. She's having a nightmare because she lost that game to you so many times. Giant you. That is horrifying. Even in her dreams, you is a little monster. Okay, she's deep in the ocean now. Is there some like deep symbolism that is we're meant to pick up on? Oh, it's the fish that they ate, right? That dead fish. Oh. Oh my god, this looks like a picture book with the use of the colors. Hmm. I still want to know what happened to her grandpa. The bone. What is happening? Are they high on shrooms? Did they just like inhale some kind of gas? Oh my god, that's scary. Just another way that you is scary. That's right, they cleaned it. Well, that is a question. um you know, there are certain kinds of relationships. That is something you would say though. That that's wild. I mean, you did try to eat her once, you know, when she was still sleeping. She was chewing on her arm. It's like those baby, you know, I forgot what they're called, but you know what I mean. It's like a weird industrial steel forest that they're driving through. Just gives off such a weird feeling atmospherically. Oh man, is this gonna turn dangerous? Yeah, it's like a forest with no canopy. It's interesting that they always focus on rivulets of water. Yeah, it's kind of like even in this dead place, there are signs of life, you know, water, streams. You with the hair down's really cute. What a deep cavern. Oh, なるほど。Ow. These two. Rainwater. There's that drop again. Like slow motion with the rippling sound. Ugh, the sound design on this is amazing. It's like this is entertainment, right? Watching drops of water hit their helmets. How different it is. It's like DJ training. ASMR episode. Nice. Oh, please give us a full-fledged like mix. Well, this is an episode you should watch with your eyes closed. Ah, we did ask last time if they knew about music. They clearly know about the dab. Yo, she knows music notation. She's smiling. Here we go. Oh, oh, this song. I can't wait to listen to the soundtrack. Oh, that a cappella too. The end of our unending journey. I love how these songs, it sounds like you and Chi are singing it to each other, at least according to the lyrics. I love if they had just heard that entire song in their heads. Was it? Oh, it's like their escape. They just close their eyes to the really bleak landscape and just bathe in the sound and the rain. that was an amazing episode. I mean, we're talking about it later, but I just love how they were able to find, in the most unexpected places, a way to tap into what once was like music is a universal language, right? Everyone loves music, some kind of music, and they were able to connect to something that gave a lot of people a lot of joy and was able to, I love music. And yeah, just you can create music out of anything. And I love that they touched on that they discovered it for themselves. Man, that was awesome. All right, we're moving on to episode 6. And yeah, I wonder what the girls are going to discover of past human life this time. If you guys are ready, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, play. I like how the words sort of form like a worm, like the worm statue. The food and the books. It's like yin and yang. Together they're perfect. Like bookshelf and a pantry, and they're good to go. I want to see if that's actually text, the patterns on the sides and on the spirals. God, that rifle is just it's like a reminder that they do live in this world that is still about survival. And I don't know, I feel like I'm still waiting for something nasty to happen. Like they'll come across some roving band of gangsters that they have to kill with their bullets or something, or threaten to kill them. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, still in the steel forest. Oh, I missed those numbers. Oh, it's just their kid and crowd. Okay. And you just not helping at all. But she probably prefers that because you might stuff something up. Or she doesn't trust you to touch the mechanics. That's positive. That's considered positive in this environment. So they're aiming for the highest level. Okay. It really fits in with the whole, getting to heaven theme. Oh, more humans. I love that. You know how you is the one that's telling Chi to like look up at the sky from every now and then, and it's like a scientist. And she is telling you to look at the ground, watch your feet. That was great. Rifles out. God, I mean, Kanazawa was great. Maybe this is gonna be another good human too. She looks cute. Oh, an engineer. She looks incredibly sleep deprived. Mad scientist? She doesn't even know there's 2 girls staring at her. She wanted to do the heart. Oh. What a coincidence. I mean, their luck is pretty amazing. Well, you is not as suspicious. Oh, that sounds sus though. Oh god, is she into human experimentation? Oh man. She's like, you don't need my name. Okay, is she? I don't know. Do you trust strangers in this sort of world? I mean, Kanazawa worked out really well. She can speak though, so maybe she doesn't live alone. Mm. Some... So better living, but still just on the fringe of existence. Oh, she's actually building an actual one that can fly humans, maybe. Oh. Like collect parts and stuff? I guess in a way she's doing what she and you are doing. Like they're trying to get to the highest level, and that's their destination, and she just wants to get out of the city. Oh, third time unlucky, maybe. Hmm. They say. Oh, I love potatoes. Oh my gosh, this is the first time eating a potato. It's so weird. It's like the potato in the shape of a ration bar. It must still taste good though, you know, potatoes are potatoes. Oh, look at those giraffes in the back. I wonder how many times she's tried. Mm. So not hers, it's probably from some old era. Yeah, they look like the soup, like the first ones, the very first planes. I wonder where she learned all that though. Oh, and look at that old school typewriter as well. Hmm. I guess it's like for her, it's worth taking that risk. You either die in the city, like you starve to death, or you take your shot. You might die, but you also might get out. She looks like she's been through hell. So maybe she's starting to think that maybe they have to get out as well, instead of just going up and up and up. Is it far? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Chi would get in. The fear of heights. Ugh, I don't think I'd get in that either. But I feel like Ishi is desperate enough to just give it a go. She does have a timeline, like a deadline. It's an interesting, like, overriding theme of hopelessness. Like, it's better to take a risk, but with hope, than just give up and play it safe, but also just wallow in hopelessness. Ah, oh, she's emotional. Man, that credit card is their life. Oh my gosh, if this episode ends with Ishi flying off into the distance and then we don't actually see the crash, but later there's just bits of plane everywhere. we just. No, it's fine. She's gonna be all good. She's gonna get out. Oh man, is it done? She's even got a flight suit on. What's celebrating? God, those potatoes. I mean, I'd want to try one, I guess. I love how it's just like a random. Oh no, it's not a table, it's sort of like a part. It's kind of big metal reel. I don't think she knows. She just wants out. $76. Oh, that was just like barely a glimpse of something. Oh man. Oh no. Whenever you take a photo of something, it's a sign that they're not gonna last very long. I don't know why I have that feeling. Just company, right? Oh, there you go. That's her legacy. Those two can remember her even if she dies. I mean, that's something to, be proud of. Something to keep you going even if things do go wrong. Oh god, it sounds like it's just gonna fall apart on the first liftoff. Okay. Well, that's good. Oh man, I wonder how she's gonna land it though. She's so chill. Oh god, is she gonna kill herself? Try again, right? Okay, alright. She gave it a shot. She had a go. Getting along with hopelessness. Yeah. Yeah, who knows? I mean, trying to land in all that debris and poking steel buildings is would be quite a challenge. Just recorded in history. Well, Ishii deserves a, place in the history books. To the west. It's funny that they're heading to the west. That's sort of like in Eastern religions, it's sort of the place to enlightenment when you go to the west. What an uplifting song, you. My god, I honestly would not have been surprised if they actually witnessed Ishii's death right in front of their eyes. But it was a nice twist, They turned it into this lesson about how you gotta take your risks, and even if it doesn't work out, and you at least tried, and you know that failure is just maybe a pathway to peace, and just sort of living with the fact that you gave it your all and you can rest easy then, as opposed to always being scared of failing and just never trying. That's probably the worst outcome that you could do to yourself. Ugh, this show, man. Oh, that was the shot in episode 1, right? When they were looking up at the stars. Ah, Kanazawa's camera. Okay. Oh. Oh man, look at those layers. Okay. She's not even trying to land on a higher level. She's just like, well, just wherever the wind blows me, I guess. Hey guys, you know what's weird? I feel I appreciate life just a little bit more every time I watch Girls Last Tour, because, well, I mean, humans generally don't really dwell too much on the basic things in life that make living decent until we're presented with a situation where all of those little things are taken away, and only then do you realize just how much those little things actually matter. So in episode 5 that we just watched, seeing you and Chi talk about and visualize their dream home with a pantry full of food and the bunk bed and the bookshelf full of books, and just luxuriating in those really oddly out of place couches. You know, everything in this world that we've come to know is all sharp angles and steel and just metal structures. So when they walked into that apartment that looks relatively soft, much more like a house where someone actually did used to live in, it was really jarring, and it makes you reflect on what makes your house a home. So for you and Chi, their house is what you said, you know, it's the open road with the sky as their roof, and by extension, home is each other. Man, you had some great lines these episodes. I guess for us too, who do have physical houses or places to live in, it's also the people that we travel life with that is the true home, which is so corny to say, but is true to the extent that often it's our connections to people, whether that's family or friends or other social circles that we're part of, that provide the meaning to physical structures and the physical things that we own. The second half of episode 5, I felt carried a similar message too, but in relation to the magic of music, that arranged in a certain way, physical, really unremarkable things like tin cans arranged in a certain way under the rain can produce something that transcends those physical objects. And so, oh man, I loved it. Like, you ended up with this really crunchy, stimulating ASMR type music, and seeing you and Chi wonder at this music that they've created and reminisce about how this is what humans used to enjoy was yeah, kind of magical in itself. Episode 6. Oh man. We met our second human, who again turned out to be just another wholesome human who wanted to discover a way to escape the drudgery and the constant danger of starving in the city. Is she the last human pilot in history? I really felt her tiredness of living in this city that offers no real hope, but just this endless cycle of surviving but never thriving. And I can totally understand why she would take that huge risk of getting into a plane that she essentially just built out of scrap metals, and based on designs from a now ancient period of time, just for a shot at escaping into this new city that she barely glimpsed through the fog. So the life lesson with this episode was super strong, and it's also something that I really relate to as well, that sometimes you really just have to step out and do something that's considered risky, because almost always the things that are really worth living for and fighting for take some risk to get. And like Ishi, whose plane broke, thank God she did die, after she flew it for not very long, you know, it's okay to fail. It may be absolutely soul crushing at first, and it may be the last time you ever try that certain thing again, but the key is that you tried, right? And it's vastly better to have tried and failed than to never try at all out of this fear of failure. I also, with Ishi, felt this undertone of loneliness that she suffered from as well. Chancing upon the girls was one, like, a way for someone to witness this impending historical moment. And so even if flying the plane went really wrong, there'd at least be someone to see her heroic efforts and to remember them. I guess it was like the equivalent of screaming "Witness me," you know, before gate crashing Valhalla and dying in the process. But also, I think Ishi was genuinely lonely, as she naturally would be. You know, again, the fact that Chi and you have each other is so significant to their survival. It's not just keeping their bodies going by drinking and eating. That's important. What's equally, if not more important, is like looking after their souls. To have someone that sees you or that you can rely on to remind yourself of your humanity amidst this world that is stripped of all humanity. And I think that point, every time they come across a human that's been living on their own for so long, I feel like that point comes out really obviously as well. Okay, so it's that time where we have to say goodbye for now. I really look forward to reading your thoughts. There's always stuff in the comments that make me just stop and think really hard, which I love. So thank you for watching Girls Last Tour with me, and I will see you again next time.